if it weren't for her, I don't know where I would be.
I know. And the person the voice in my head.
You know how women are. She's like, don't put the camera on me, please. And I'm like, you look beautiful to me no matter what. I don't care. But I have to respect her, so I will not. I will cut that out if you want. But I will leave your. I leave your voice in. Say good morning. That means a lot to me to have you there. And I was just telling Mercury, ¿cómo se dice Mercury? Too much paint.
Mucha pintura.
Mucha pintura means, and I try to explain, I ask her, ¿cómo se dice redistribute the paint that's already on the surface?
Distribuir la pintura.
Distribuir la pintura. She understands. Yes, thank you. Distribuir.
Retribuir.
La pintura. Distribute the paint instead of dipping and getting more and just glutting up the surface. And it's all an exercise. We're practicing. What are we practicing for? Who knows? I've had to paint where I had a deadline. There was the most pressure I felt. And I'm taping just to let the rest of the house so that people don't, they just at least people around, because I have people getting ready for work and we want people to be happy but know that I'm taping. The most pressure I felt in terms of of just all of it, just the whole skill that you need. And so that it becomes more than just, let me blow off some steam, which to an extent it always has to be that too. You have to enjoy it, because if the audience doesn't see your love and your enjoyment of what you're doing, or the viewer, then chances are you won't have anybody wanting to buy work, which is what I use the example of having been commissioned to do a portrait of David Piner, the director of Arbor Acres Retirement Community in Winston, which has an extensive and very eclectic collection of visual art, including Elaine Dowdell, one of my favorite landscape artists of all time. And I was honored to be they chose me, and I had a committee that just said, I don't know, Miss Alderson, who was a very instrumental voice in that buying committee at Arbor Acres, who recommended that they consider my work. They commissioned me. And then I had a 3-month time period. They said, well, we'll pay for all your supplies. At a very nice art supply store, the guy was really knowledgeable about stretching canvases. They said, well, let's have a discussion about, we came to an agreement on using hand-stretched 30 by 50 inch heavy-duty canvas linen, not canvas, but it was linen, which is smoother and accepts the paint even nicer than canvas, or better in a nicer. You can do it's even better than canvas. Linen, no expense spared. All the art supplies from Mona Lisa Art Supply in Louisville near Winston. And all expenses paid. Just go over there on an business account, and get anything you need at all times. And by the end, I had the buying committee was like honoring David Piner, who was retiring, who had helped design this community. It's one of the most beautiful retirement communities, still is. And this was 2004, 21 years ago, and. Towards the end, I got a call from David Piner saying, I think he had a southern drawl, and he was pretty cool in his own way, but he was like, he kind of tricked me a little bit, actually. He said, I want to come over and talk with you. We're really, really having an interesting discussion here with the buying committee or the board. The board's over here. And I said, well, I don't think I need to come over for that. I'm in the middle of painting. He said, well, no, I think you do. I think you do. Just like that. I think you do. Just over and over. I said, okay, this is not good. I could tell it wasn't good. I got over there and he lit into me in front of this buying committee, which included Lynn Ross, who I believe is still over there. My painting is still over there too. The moral of the story, or the happy ending is that I had an unveiling. They ended up paying, it was a $2,400 contract at increments, pending approval on a 3 incremental basis, 800 per increment, and they had the right in the contract to cancel the job at any time if it wasn't any good or if they weren't happy. And he said, well, you just painting a gunked up bunch of crap. He just kept yelling, you gunked up bunch of crap. I said, David, you know what? I'll pull it together. Just give me 3 days. And he said, well, okay. And then, and then it was just that kind of pressure. It's like it was good for me, but but it wouldn't be good for me if I had to deal with it all the time. But the long story short, we had an unveiling and a big, just wonderful reception for this painting, which wasn't for the painting. It was really for David Piner, who was a great designer, architectural designer of this retirement community, and also director, who was retiring. And the painting was treated. I was treated with respect, and that was wonderful. It was a good, happy ending, but it was difficult. That's the kind of pressure. So there's different kinds of pressures that some of it's just let me get through the day. Sometimes people have that. They just want to say, let me just paint this until it's dinner time without any too much sadness in my day. And I felt like that too. There's just all kinds of different mindsets when you do visual art. June 15th, 2025.